Hi everyone, I hope you're doing well today. We have another lesson for you going on, and today we're going to be looking at polynomials, and we're going to be dividing those polynomials using long division. So you might want to refer to some of my earlier videos to see what polynomials are all about, but using long division, we're just going to be jumping right into it. So here I have my first problem. It says x cubed plus 7x squared plus 15x plus 9. So I got a polynomial. It has many terms, poly meaning many. So x cubed, 7x squared plus 15x plus 9. And we're dividing it by another polynomial, a binomial in this case, which is x plus 1. All right. And so the steps I'm going to show you are going to be useful for anything that you're dividing by. They're going to work every single time. As long as things are divisible. If they weren't, then obviously they wouldn't work. But here we're going to set up our problem first and using long division. So you might remember long division, just long division looking, let's see, here's 2,406. If I want to divide it by, let's see, 17. So 17 goes into 24. Let's see, it goes into that once, and then 17 times 1, so 17. And then I subtract, so I'm going to subtract, and I'm going to get 7 here. And let's see, so I bring down the 0. 17 times goes into 70, let's see, 34, 68, so 4 times. So 4 times 17 is going to give me 68. And then again, we're going to subtract. And so then here I'm going to get 2, bring down the 6 now. And then 17 times 20, 17 goes into 26 one time. And so 17, 26, 17, subtract again. So let's see, 6 and 7, 26, 17. So that's going to be 9. All right. And then this 17 doesn't go into 9, so this is my remainder. And we're going to add in our remainder as 9 divided by 17. And that's our quotient. That's exactly the same stuff that we'll be doing here. Okay, but with polynomials, there's some extra things that we're going to consider. But basically, the steps are the exact same. So again, my problem, we're going to set it up using the exact same stuff. So again, division. And your divisor, x plus 1, is going to go on the outside. And then your dividend, x cubed plus 7x, this entire thing, is going to go on the inside. So x cubed plus 7x squared plus 15x plus 9. As a side note, if you were missing any terms, so I have my x cubed term, my next one down would be x squared, my next one down would be x, the last one would be a constant. If I was missing any terms, I would fill it in with a 0, but here I'm not missing any terms. So I'm looking here, and I'm going to look here at this x, and I'm going to say, okay, x times what gets me x cubed? Well, x times x squared gets me x cubed. So now I'm going to multiply x squared times x, that's going to get me x cubed. And then x squared times 1, that's going to get me x squared. So plus x squared. So we just multiplied it out, basically the same thing with long division. And again, we're going to subtract, so I'm going to pull up my parentheses here because subtracting, we're going to need to do some extra stuff. And when I'm subtracting, basically this becomes a negative, and that becomes a negative. We switch the signs. So it's going to say x cubed minus x cubed. Well, that cancels out. That's exactly what we wanted. And then it's going to say 7x squared minus x squared. That's going to get me 6x squared. Then I'm going to bring down plus 15x. Okay, we're going to do it again. X goes into 6x squared how many times? Well, that's going to go into it 6x times. So it's a positive 6x. We don't want to make it the opposite. We want to make it positive 6x. And so it's because we subtract down here. So x times 6x squared, that's going to give me positive 6x squared. And then 6x squared times 1, that's going to give me... Oh, wait, I made a mistake because this right here... Ooh, that's too big of an eraser. All right, right here, that should just be 6x. Because 6x times x gets me 6x squared. Alright, so then 6x times 1 gets me positive 6x. Okay. Again, parentheses and minus, and we got to switch our signs up. Alright, so this basically we're distributing this negative. So minus, and then this also becomes a minus. If this was a minus, then it would become a plus. Alright, down we go. So 6x squared minus 6x squared, those cancel out. And then 15x minus 6x, that's going to leave us with 9x. And then the plus 9, that's going to come down. Well, x times what gets me 9x? Well, x times 9 gets me 9x. So I'm going to put the 9 over here, positive 9, over my constant terms. So 9 times x, that's 9x. And then 9 times 1, that's 9. Then parentheses and minus. So then I gotta switch my signs up again. So then I'm going to be minus and minus. And then we subtract straight down. So that cancels out and that cancels out. And so then I don't have a remainder. Nothing's left. So when I don't have a remainder, we can say that x squared plus 6x plus 9, that'll be our that'll be what happens when we divide it. So that would be your answer. But we can also say that this x plus 1 part, we can say that this is a factor of x cubed plus 7x squared plus 15x plus 9. So, since it is a factor, I could write it out as x plus 1 times x squared plus 6x plus 9. Basically, when we multiply this out, we're going to get to this polynomial right up here that we had started with, because this is a perfect factor. Which is really nice, because if you're looking here, we could actually factor this further to x plus 3. So if you actually know one of the factors and then you divide it out, you actually get to simplify the entire problem sometimes. But all we were doing was finding the quotient. We were only dividing out. Sometimes it'll ask you, is the x plus 1 a factor? And so this is, again, how you would do it. On to our next problem. So x to the 4th plus 4x cubed minus x minus 4 divided by x squared minus 1. So our steps are going to be the exact same, but remember what I told you to watch out about. So I'm going to write down the x to the 4th here, and it's going to be minus 4x cubed. But then I'm missing an x squared term, so it's going to be plus 0x squared. I need that 0 as a placeholder. And then minus x, and then minus 4. And then our divisor, x squared minus 1. Alright, so now we got to look at the x to the 4th. X squared times what gets me x to the 4th? Well, x squared times x squared gives me x to the 4th. So I put that over my x squared term here. And then x squared times x squared, that gets me x to the 4th. And then x squared times negative 1, that's negative x squared. So I'm going to write that here, negative x squared. Parentheses and minus, and switch our sign. So basically, again, this becomes a minus, and this right here becomes a plus sign. So x to the 4th minus x to the 4th, that's going to cancel out every time. Negative 4x cubed minus nothing, well, that's just going to drop down to negative 4x cubed. And then 0x squared plus x squared, that's going to be saying plus x squared. And then I bring down the minus x. Alright, so same question. How many times does x squared go into negative 4x cubed? Well, that's going to go into it negative 4x times. So x squared times negative 4x, that is going to be negative 4x cubed. And then negative 4x times negative 1, that is positive 4x. So parentheses, subtract, and flip our signs. So this is going to become a plus, and then this is going to become a minus. Alright, and then we go straight down. So those cancel out, and then x squared comes straight down. And then negative x minus 4x, that's going to be negative 5x. And then bring down the minus 4. All right, same deal. X squared, how many times does that go into x squared? Well, it goes into it one time. X squared times 1 gives me x squared. Don't forget that. So x squared times 1, that's going to get me a positive x squared. Then negative 1 times positive 1, that gets me negative 1. So I'm going to bring the negative 1 down, and we're going to subtract. Same stuff over again, and flip your signs. So then minus, minus, and plus. So x squared minus x squared, that cancels out. Bring the negative 5x down. And then negative 4 plus 1, that is negative 3. Alright, so x squared can't go into negative 5x. So this would be your remainder. When we write our answer, you're going to write, again, like long division of just regular numbers. We're going to do x squared minus 4x plus 1. And then we're going to add in the negative 5x minus 3 over my divisor, x squared minus 1. And so that would be my final answer. We'll also say that x squared minus 1 is not a factor of x to the 4th plus 4x cubed minus x minus 4. Because we have this remainder, only when it's a remainder of 0 that you get at the end, do you say that your divisor is a factor. In this case, we can't say our divisor is a factor because we have a remainder. Alright, on to our last problem. And I want you to stop, try this one on your own, and then check your answer as we go. But here we go. So we're going to set it up still with division, long division. Okay, so here's the x plus 3 again. And then put it in x to the 4th plus 3x squared. Am I missing any terms? 4? Oh yeah, I'm missing a term right there. Don't forget to fill in that term. So plus 0x cubed, we're going to need it, plus 3x squared plus x plus 4. Let me extend that bar a little bit. Alright, so x goes into x to the 4th x cubed times, so x cubed over my x cubed term. So x cubed times x gets me x to the 4th, and then x cubed times 3 is going to be positive 3x cubed. And then subtract, parentheses, and flip your signs. So minus and minus. Alright, so those are going to cancel out, and then 0 minus 3x cubed, that'll get me negative 3x to the 3rd. Bring down the 3x squared, and say it again. X times what gets me 3x cubed? Well, that would be negative 3x squared. So negative 3x squared times x gets me negative 3x cubed. And negative 3x squared times 3, that's going to get me negative 9x squared. Alright, parentheses and subtract. If you feel like it's monotonous and I'm getting tired of saying it, that's because it's the exact same thing. Alright, so then we flip our signs, plus, plus, back to blue, and those are going to cancel out. And then 3x squared plus 9x squared, that's going to get me 12x squared. Bring down the x next, so plus x. And then x times what gets me 12x squared, so x times 12x. So positive 12x. This is shaping up really nicely. So x times 12x is going to be 12x squared. Excellent. Then 12x times 3, that's going to get me 12, 24, 36x. So positive 36x. Parentheses and subtract. And we want to flip our sign. So minus and minus. So 12x squared minus 12x squared, those cancel out. And x minus 36x, that's going to get me a negative 35x. And then bring down the plus 4. So last time, x goes into negative 35x. Negative 35 times, so minus 35. Alright, so negative 35 times x, that's going to be negative 35x, and negative 35 times 3, that is going to get us 70, negative 105. Parentheses and subtract and flip your signs. So then this is going to become a plus sign, that's going to become a plus sign. Oh, sorry about that. And then same deal, we're going to cancel, and then 4 plus 105, well, that's going to be 109. X can't go into 109, we can't reduce that exponent, so that's going to be our remainder. And so when we write our answer out, it's going to be plus the 109, our remainder, over our divisor, the x plus 3. So this right up here would be your answer when you divide. Alright, so again, that's how you divide using long division. On our next video, I'll show you guys how to divide using synthetic division. I actually think that's a little bit tougher. Long division makes a lot more sense because basically we've been doing that since elementary school. But again, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. My name is Mr. Hernandez, and I'm always here to help.